Joseph Stalin was a great leader according to his many important leadership qualities such as his determination, loyalty, and patience. He was motivated by the driving force to spread communism throughout all of Russia and then later the world. Losif Vishwanovich Dushkevely, better known as Joseph Stalin, was born on December 18, 1879, in a peasant Russian village located in Gory, Georgia, a town filled with violence and lawlessness. Stalin's father, Vissarion Dushkevely, lost his business and drank grievously. Vissarion's behavior towards his wife, Katavan Guldes, and Stalin also took a turn for the worse. He became very abusive and mistreated his family, resulting in young Stalin learning how to support him and his mother while his dad drank. Stalin's mother, on the other hand, wanted more for him and wanted Stalin to stay in school instead of working to support the family. She wanted Stalin to become a priest, to counter the unholy journey they both shared. Stalin first met Vladimir Lenin at the Bolshevik conference in Finland. Both Stalin and Lenin were great Marxist theoreticians. At this meeting, Lenin was very impressed that Stalin argued with him on the matters of the Marxist document. Their connection continued later on when Lenin was exiled in London and he relied on Stalin to help him flee the country. But later on in the relationship, Lenin tried to remove Stalin from his post for being incompetent and disobeying orders. But in 1922, Lenin suffered a stroke, which forced him into a retirement. He then later died in 1924, and Stalin took over his place. Stalin began industrializing Russia in 1929 in hopes of making Russia money for weapons and equipment to be able to be a military superpower and raise itself out of poverty. Stalin followed a 5-year plan he was putting into place to push Russia in the direction of industrialization. Most of the goals set by Stalin for the 5-year plan were not achieved until the 1960s. Before the beginning of World War II, Hitler and Stalin met and signed a non-aggression pact between the two countries, basically meaning they are allies and cannot attack each other. Since the two countries were allied, they began their attacks on Poland and Finland. Stalin is an honest and trustworthy man, so he kept up his end of the non-aggression pact, while Hitler broke his end and betrayed Stalin.
Wie die Väter einst auch Deutschland nicht Geschenk erhielten, sondern selbst nicht schaffen mussten.
Now he was Stalin, self-confident, calm, in command. The teacher of his people. A speech at the Bolshoi Theater. His hobby horse, Lenin.
Чтобы они были так же правдивы и честны, каким был Ленин.
Hitler invaded Russia and destroyed every city in between him and Stalingrad. Hitler reached Stalingrad and launched an attack. Stalin began fighting back and putting all the resources he had into defending Stalingrad. And they did. The Nazis were defeated in Stalingrad, and this would be the beginning of the fall of the Nazis.
Further north, the Nazi pincers were within 15 miles of Stalingrad. This city had become the focal point of the whole campaign. Regardless of the cost, Stalingrad must be captured. Those were the German orders.
Fire! Fire!
German guns, German bombs shattered the city into pieces. By September 20th, the Germans, after 30 days of grueling and ceaseless fighting, battled their way into the city's outskirts.
March 1953. The Soviet Union mourns the death of Stalin. For almost 3 decades, Stalin ruled supreme. How would they manage without him? Stalin died without naming a successor. A collective leadership emerged, led by Georgy Malenkov, Lavrenti Beria, Vyacheslav Molotov, and Nikita Khrushchev. Millions of Russians grieved for their dead leader, even though his rule had been ruthless and their own welfare neglected. Stalin had transformed the Soviet Union into a superpower, but at his death, relations with America and the West had seldom been.
Joseph Stalin led the Soviet Union for 30 years, but all things must come to an end, and on March 5th, 1953, they did for Stalin. He suffered a massive cerebral hemorrhage, and on March 6th, weep and sorrow swept through the Soviet Union when the news was released to the people about the death of their leader. Russia wouldn't be the same after his death. He was a great leader and carried the Soviet Union through World War II, avoiding the spread of Nazism. He would be missed by his people, and the things he's done for his country will be remembered forever.